Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. Sorry, I just farted.
Sorry. Yeah, we're channeling our inner fat bastard for this weekend.
There's no way you'd get away with fat bastard as a character nowadays. Sure you wouldn't. Like, there's
No.
no way you're getting
I'm
away with
glad we
that.
lived it. I'm glad we lived it, when we did.
Still to this day, I have that, and I'd say Borat because I didn't know what to expect with Borat, so that's what killed me there. But that and the scene, the whole movie with Fat Bastard in it, all the scenes of Fat Bastard, and the scene where Ace Ventura comes out the arse of the rhino.
The rhino, yeah.
That's it. Lost it in life. Just went, well, I'm now addicted to comedy forever. There's never going to be coming back from
Yes.
this. But Fat Bastard, everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's,
it's it.
when he spots Mini-Me, when he sees Mini-Me for the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
time, like,
Oh,
Jesus Christ, he's tiny. I got bigger pieces of corn in my crap.
I
Awful.
want to eat your baby. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs.
Why was it so funny? Like, it was so ridiculous. But it's funny you saying that about, like, the rhino and Ace Ventura. Like, how iconic
Yeah, yeah.
that scene.
Like when people mention Jim Carrey to me, that's the scene. I remember. That's the
Yeah.
fucking scene I remember. Him climbing out of the arse of a rhino.
But Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's stunning. A piece of art is what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a piece of art. Me and my family, shout out to Michelle, who was like, oh, and I have so much to talk to you about the podcast, and then we never got time because the way it goes. Because I'm at home. I'm at home this week, so and running nonstop, seeing everyone. But my family and I, as in my siblings and I, we just started a Spotify playlist of throwing, things that remind us of when we were, songs from our childhood on this playlist on Spotify.
That's wholesome.
Do you know what's on there is like, oh, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. Hi, oh, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang loves us too. Yeah. All those Ace Ventura clips are on it, but there's really nice, like, rock and roll kids and really lovely, like, old Irish beautiful stuff, and then like, righty then,
That should be our new theme, nearly. Your theme is brilliant, but that should be our new theme of you just doing that. Oh, class. Jesus Christ, that is absolutely. I will. Yeah, that's going to be clipped. Hey, welcome to the podcast, everybody. The most rugby adjacent podcast there is. We're a bit late in the week because we're just running around each other like two children trying to play musical chairs, and that's what happened. Yep. But we are here now. That's the most important thing, to talk some bit about the rugby from the weekend gone by. Annie, did you win? Can we start with that? Did you win?
Jesus, was that only the weekend? We did, yeah, we won, which was handy enough.
Who did you win against?
We win against Jouer les Tours, which was the game before Christmas where I gave the middle finger to your man in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
I was tempted to do it again, but I knew there was kids there because I made a terrible knock-on in front of the whole crowd, and there was a good crowd there as well. But like, the ball was coming in and the wind was just pushing it too far away from me, and I just like came in too far away from it and like tried to catch it with my hands instead of my arms, knocked it on in front of the whole crowd. They were all cheering and jeering, and I wanted to do this, give him the middle finger, but I was like, it would have been good crack, like, because
it's iconic. You do it once, it's cool. You do it twice, it's iconic. It's like, that's what Capeless does.
Yeah, they wouldn't have understood it maybe, but anyway, I was it gave a good old ambience to the crowd anyway, so but we won comfortably anyway, so it was grand, and we've 2 more games left, and then semi and hopefully a final, and then a fucking access match, which is like a playoff to get into League One. So Jesus, the seasons, it's like, going to play rugby in France has been like going back to primary school, where you've to spend June in school as well.
Yeah, right. I never understood. Like, it's one thing to go, you see the lads go to these, in their latter year, like the time Johnny Sexton went to Racing. You're going,
Hmm.
what are you doing? You'll get that money at home if you ask for it long enough. They beat the living shit out of players. Like, it's like, and what is the
Yeah.
Le Barrage then? Is that like the last, is that into the playoffs then? Is it?
Yeah, to get into Division 1.
Which it sounds like, it's just a fucking barrage of matches being thrown at you, literally going, well,
Yeah, yeah,
our body's
yeah,
never getting fixed after this place.
yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, I don't, like I said, I don't make many tackles because I'm standing in the back line. As soon as we turn to defense, the 8 turns and runs away. That I've never had that role before ever. So I make very few tackles. It's great.
Well, I remember mentioning it to somebody when they went, yeah, we tried that for a while. Or is it Kilfeacle or yeah, it could have been Kilfeacle or Clanwilliam. They were like, we tried
Yeah,
that for a while. It was kind of a thing, and yeah, our number 8 said that's not fucking happening. Like, I ain't
yeah,
running my whole off to go back to run
yeah,
around with a bunch of lads who are rockets. Just let me
yeah.
smash inside 5 meters, please.
I know. It's actually, I'm just glad I'm in my last few years of rugby because it's kind of it preserves me.
Yeah,
Like attritional wise, like it's grand. So, and you do get to make like you get to join in the defensive line then when you're kind of under more pressure, which is enjoyable then, if you're on your own line.
yeah.
So like it can add a lot to the defense then. It's just so when we're in the other half and we're defending, which they usually kick it then. So I get to gather a lot of ball then, except for that last one on Saturday, but anyway, allowed to drop one. I hope. Anyway, fuck it. Should have given him the finger. Anyway, how are you? And yeah, sorry, I want to say sorry to people for being so late this week because the last time we released it this late, we got awful abuse
Oh
from everyone.
God, yeah. I got a few of
So
this nighty messages of any old
I
podcast
know,
going up. It's like, Jesus
yeah, I
Christ,
know.
it's like coming into the mother's house 2 days after she's promised to make stew, and you're going, "Where's this? You said there'd be stew, like." You're like, "Yeah, that was too."
Yeah, it's like giving your mother back chat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it really is like, and
Mm.
and all I've done for you.
And all we've done for our listeners, huh? Huh? All the research we do, all the hours we put into preparing
Oh,
our podcast.
it's phenomenal. It's the reams of stuff around me here that we've been sending back and forth. We don't do emails actually. We actually post stuff back and forth because we're that old school. And we post
Mm,
just the reams and reams of stuff that we have here is phenomenal on rugby stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm very good. We opened our new comedy club in Dungarvan on last Friday,
Oh yes.
uh, headlined by the true queen of stand-up comedy in Ireland, Deirdre O'Kane. She a fucking blue. They need roofers. They need roofers after or the demolition job she did. And that's not to mention Chris McShane, Cork's own Chris McShane, who is most definitely, you'll see lads writing it, but this is definitely a rising star. He has the ting that is needed. But the audience were bananas. They were just like children that were shown a sport for the first time. Literally, they were enjoying the shit out of it, but they were laughing at mental times and over laughing some stuff. You know what I mean? They didn't know their
Yeah,
role.
yeah,
Do you know how
yeah,
panto
yeah,
audience
yeah,
knows their role and their
yeah.
oohs and all? They didn't know their role at all. It took like they were just howling, laughing at all the wrong
Well,
times.
it
And
is a new comedy club, so they need a bit of training in. They need a
this
bit of
is
practice.
this is exactly it. They were all beaten up after it. They were all wrecked. There was people like down there.
Yeah,
We're like, Jesus Christ Almighty! I didn't think that was going to be so
not
intense for two.
sustainable.
It just that intense, and it was a lovely evening. We stayed down for the food festival. It was beautiful for a little bit.
Oh,
We got put up in a stunning apartment, myself and the wife and the child, and it was very, very nice. It was very nice. Um, Met a lovely. Did you ever watch Vikings?
never watched it.
Mo
I went to
Dunford.
audition for it once.
Did ya?
To be an extra.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I actually had broken my nose with a big plastic thing on my face, so might be why.
That
But
w-
they were looking for people who were like strong and crafty and stuff. And like I wrote on it that I was a rugby player, and I also wrote that they were looking for fisher people. And I thought I'd get something from it because I'm obviously strong and I can fish. So I thought that I'd get a call back. Never got a call back, but I did have a big thing on my face, so maybe they were like, "What the fuck's up with your one?"
Yeah, you were doing perfect for as an ex-maiden because they were the most.
But I heard the extras on Vikings had an awful time. They were just
Oh,
standing around in the fucking blistering cold in the Wicklow Mountains for like
yeah.
hours. So sorry,
Eh,
but you were saying about some of the Vikings.
yes. Um, my brain has gone sideways now. A class gentleman, Mo. Short from Morris, he told me. Mo Dunford is his name. He's a very, very good Irish actor, and he was in it for years. And he played like he's a great, when I was just fucking hell, you were a really, really strong actor in it because I kind of want to do some fun stuff now. He says, Jesus, something where there's a smile on my face at least. He says, I've had a furrowed brow for fucking 10 years on that show. Like, and also I
Yeah,
played an English fella going, yes, sir, of course, sir, to my father, the king. He didn't play a Viking. He played the British who were not happy with the Vikings. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
but a very, very cool character. Great. Do you know you meet somebody that's got great energy fucking
Mm.
bursting out for positive things to happen in the area and stuff. So it was
Mm.
great. And then we went up to Plain to open for Neil Delamere, and it was very, very fun. It
Oh
was
yeah.
a very, very fun gig. And we went to see dinosaurs, amazing dinosaurs show in Artane in Dublin. They rented out this huge warehouse for a few months, and they've done it out like a jungle and brought actual life size, for when they were alive, fucking huge moving robots of these dinosaurs. Unbelievable. Like,
That sounds class.
they're reaching down, they're pecking kids' hair and stuff. It's fucking amazing. Amazing. Full
Fuck,
size
that's
T
cool.
Rexes, full size like Spinosaurus and Carnotaurus. These ferocious looking. I didn't know half of them himself was running around going, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's a Pteromabalapalapalas. I'm like, I bet you it is.
yeah.
I bet you it is, 100%. Yeah. And
Unreal.
just as we're leaving, uh, a kid puked all over the floor. So it was like perfect. We're leaving right at this moment. And even it was even there's a turns of maturity you can see in a person like, and maybe 3 or 4 months ago he would have been like, I don't want to leave. This is the best place in the world. But even he looked at me at that point, looked at the barf on the ground. He's like, all right, okay.
This ship has sailed.
It's this ship is we're done. This egg is cooked. We're done.
We're chicken. Yeah. That's so it. I felt like for a minute there it could have potentially been a bit of a Willy Wonka fiasco,
We
but
were in one back part of my brain. I was kind of hoping it was that, but the reviews were stunning. I was kind of hoping it was going to
right.
be utterly shit. But then you're kind of going, we're not here for me. We're here for a child who's really into
Yes.
dinosaurs. But no, it was like the polar opposite of the Willy Wonka, which
Sure, that's what AI does. Like fucking AI. Like
yeah, it
yeah,
was it was, to be fair, it was very, very well done. It was,
amazing.
yeah, cool. And then yeah, I mean, God, I kept it on the Saturday, obviously kept an eye on the match and stuff like that. I was like, Jesus Christ. And we may as well rip the band-aid off. Like, but, whew, oh, that was a
Mm,
that was a cold wet cloth to the face, wasn't it? Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Right. This is where we stand. This is where we
yeah.
stand. Right. Okay.
It you could say that this is where we stand. Like, and definitely like we can't shy away from this. Like, I don't want to fucking every year just have to skip over this fixture if
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't, as if it doesn't mean anything. For now, you might as well, because there's still a chance for Ireland to achieve something in the Six Nations, which is qualify for the World Cup, which is massive. But England, like, fair play to England, because despite the fact that they were already number one in the world, I know they lost the World Cup final, but I'll get to that in a minute. They're streets ahead of everybody.
Everybody. There's nothing
But
comparable in the men's game. There's nobody
no,
comparable.
but they have been able to improve despite nobody pressuring them, only themselves.
Yeah. Right.
Only they're just searching inside themselves. And so they have had, up till last weekend, what I like about it is, England's maul, like, I always put an English hooker in my fantasy team. Because you'd almost be guaranteed that they just like kick for territory, line out maul, bang, the hooker scores on the end of the maul. And like often the highest try scorer in the Six Nations would be the English hooker. because of that. So they obviously are searching for different styles to use. They've given away the most penalties out of all teams in this tournament. I don't know if that changed after last weekend, because they were obviously more clinical against Ireland, because they knew their home match was Twickenham. They wanted to put on a show. But in the other matches, they've been pushing themselves a bit. That's why they've been ill-disciplined. Like, they're trying to find something else within themselves, which they totally need to do, because I don't blame the Six Nations as a tournament, obviously not. But I don't think the Six Nations is one of the reasons why England lost the World Cup final.
Lack of competition, lack of
competition,
lack of being pushed.
Lack of feeling of like, we've got to fucking win this game. They never have to feel like that. So when the pressure comes on, like a year before the World Cup took place, they absolutely wiped the floor with New Zealand. New Zealand came on tour to England.
Yeah.
And they absolutely hockeyed them. And then 1 year later, New Zealand beat them in the final, because the pressure is too much then when it finally comes on. But you can't find it anywhere else. It's not like it's just no one is able to challenge them. And like, a lot of people are saying like they got a red card in the final versus New Zealand, but I would have bet England with 14 players against any team in the world.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So even now, like, just the fact that they're obviously aware of that, they've learned lessons, they're trying to find something else within themselves to truly know like who they are. The strength and depth they have is fucking scary. But they're another level. Like, there's no point really talking about Ireland after that fixture, because
they were made anonymous, unfortunately, through it. Like, they were just made anonymous. Like, it was,
and like missed a lot of tackles, which is disappointing, because last year when Ireland were doing really badly, people were predicting 100+ score on Ireland, and then they fucking went out and they defended massively. I know that Twickenham is a wider pitch. England are better. They were so relentless that, you're missing tackles, not, because there's a lot of space, but also because people were just running over them. Like, I just that was just the hardest thing to kind of watch, is that they couldn't just defensively just put them under slightly, push them a little bit more, and just narrow that 88-10 scoreline was just massive. So, but a few players afterwards have said they were shell-shocked, they were overwhelmed, they were like, so what do you do? Like, you just fucking, like, they still have to turn up this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many times you go back underneath the sticks before you're going, I don't know what to say to you girls. Jesus Christ, we're back here again. 10th time. So you can't, once it passes like the 50 mark, you're kind of going, you can't blame anybody for just fucking being shell-shocked at that stage, because you come off the back of a very warranted win. They deserved every bit of their win against Wales. And not that they would have high expectations, but again, nearly the polar opposite to in that moment. Like, people can get amnesia very quickly from the previous year where they got beaten by England, but it can still be an awful shock to the fucking senses to be taking a hiding like that and going, where are they coming from? Every fucker on that team can make a break. It's from the scrum half to the centres to everybody seems to be able to break through us. Like,
front rows,
everybody.
second rows. Yeah. But I think England as well were looking for extra detail that maybe they wouldn't normally. So it's almost like I feel like it's like playing snooker, for example. You'd be watching snooker and you'd be thinking, okay, where are they going to go next? But the player is already 4 or 5 shots ahead in his head.
Yes, yeah.
That's what England is looking for. And I felt like because Ireland's plan was to slow the ball down, whenever the extra defender went in to try and slow the ball down, they spotted it and they went out the back. And that's the detail they're looking for. So that's not so simple. That's not, you don't just, it's not just heads up. They're fucking like, there's a trigger.
I mean, that would have been, as you said, there would have been a trigger, but sure, like, that would have been something that would have been pinged during the week going, all right, so this, what we're doing, girls. As soon as she steps in, They're down a woman. So out we get. And the speed of
Small.
hands, their hands were so fucking quick. They
You know, I
got it.
find it as well. They fire the passes at each other
Yeah,
like
that's it.
fucking
Yeah.
fire, and they never drop them or knock them on.
Like it
Do you know?
negated that we were going to have a discussion about the smaller ball. I was
Oh yeah.
watching that match going, fuck that smaller
A
ball.
100% Thank you. Thank you. And
Jesus
it's as simple
Christ.
as that because a friend of mine, if you ever come across her, Alice Soper, she's in New Zealand. I played with her in Richmond years ago, but she does very good coverage of women's rugby online. And I was just like, she tweeted about it. There's a few different reasons, and we can expand on the ball size later, but she made the point you're making there now. Who watched the World Cup final and thought, I know what this game needs, a smaller ball? It's not like if you like downgrading size of the ball is actually a step backwards, number one. Number two, it's just such a shortcut to not get to a level like England have got to.
Exactly.
You know, put in the proper resources, put in the systems that England have, follow that model, and forget about changing the size of the ball. Like, it's lazy. Concentrate on what really fucking matters, which is proper investment, coaching, training, and then forget the size of the ball. Like, why have you brought up the size of the ball? Anyway, that's we can expand on that later if you want. But yeah. I don't know.
I like that. Expand on a ball size. So we're no, they'll stay at size 5, Anna. We're not making a bigger ball. Come on now. You're just gone crazy. You're talking about expanding on the ball here. You're leaving it at the fucking normal.
But also, who said that size 5 was the optimal size for men? No,
Yeah.
There was never a test. There was just this ball selected.
Yeah.
And men have been playing with it, whereas women weren't allowed to play rugby. Like, this is, it's still a relatively new fucking sport compared to how long men have been playing. But who decided that size 5 was? Who did the scientific research on size 5 for men? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
It is what it is. Play with the fucking thing. And
yeah.
Craig Casey's hands are not going to be the size of RG Snyman's hands. Do you know what I mean? Like,
So what do you do about it?
What do you do?
So what you do? Yeah. So
you give him gloves. He gets to wear big gloves.
Yeah. But does RG Simon ever drop the ball? I bet he fucking does.
Of course he does.
You know he does? He goes home and he fucking practices it and he works at it and he improves it. Like, and another thing I saw during the week, it's actually another girl that I played rugby with. Her name is Lizzie Musa. She's on TikTok as Rugby Girl or something. I don't know. She has a good TikTok anyway. And she does this challenge where grip challenge, and she holds the rugby ball and she goes up to people on the street and tries to wrestle them for the ball. And she usually wins, but sometimes she doesn't. But she did it with what's her man's name? With the new teeth and the new hair. Stuart Hogg.
Hogg, yeah. And new tattoos.
Oh yeah.
And new wife.
She did it with him. He's a professional rugby player. He guaranteed has bigger hands than Lizzie.
Yeah.
And who won? She did, because she's always doing this challenge.
Wow.
She won it. I'll send it to you. I only found it on Facebook. I didn't find it on Instagram or anything, but I was like, this is cold, hard proof right here that this isn't about
practice.
The size of your hand. It's about the time of the ball in your hands.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't understand, like, when I saw the ball thing, and there's no point in getting into it because it's so fucking stupid. I saw the ball thing and thought, all right, maybe trial it, but why? Like, but it got completely blown out of the water at the weekend. When you watch these fucking bullets, they look like, do you know what they look like? They look like Leinster. They actually look like a fucking well-drilled Leinster team. Do you know what I mean? When they're just running over some poor bastards like Zebra or something like that, and it's the full strength. You know, the passes were just so fast that Ireland would not have seen that so far. They would not have seen that so far. Like,
no.
You know what I mean?
Because even at that, England are so much even better than they were last year.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So it's not just coming up against a good English side, it's coming up against an English side who are better than they've been ever.
This England team would have beaten last year's England team well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they would have put a cricket score on too.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. But
looking forward, I mean, there is no mystery to what happened at the weekend. It was just beaten by the better team.
No,
and by Jesus Christ, I dare anybody to step into that arena and try and fucking compete with them doing that. Like that was
You talk about the arena. I actually was writing about this for Rugby Pass, and I said it's like pipping gladiators against gladiators, one from the telly and one from the Roman Empire. And one of them has turned up with fucking like, steel armor, swords, horses, shields, helmets, and then the others turn up with like sponge crossbow and like spun hammer. And I, how do they end up in the same arena? Kind of a question. That's what it's like. That's why it's so hard to review. And I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the Six Nations because we've been talking about the rugby.
Yeah.
Last year, the year before, for years now, since the World Cup,
The drama around it.
every
Yeah.
year has been shit around the governance, the running around it. Like there's been, this kind of revolution in the meantime, this kind of change in things, and now we just have to be patient. But actually, we've been able to talk about rugby. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fucking progress. That's progress.
It really is. So looking forward to next weekend. Are you going to go up to Belfast?
I think I won't make it, and I will get just an extra bit of time here at home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the Ireland plays Scotland in Belfast this weekend. Who was it you said Rowley or she got upgraded to a red
Yeah,
card, meaning she's gone this
Chloe
weekend?
Rowley. Chloe Rowley got a yellow card and was sent to the bunker at the end of the game last week versus Italy. And Scotland beat Italy for the first time ever in Italy.
Oh,
So Scotland are on a roll. A Rowley.
right! Like
Without a
what a
roll.
name, Chloe Rowley. Like
I know,
what
yeah.
a name.
I know, I love her too. She because we lived together for a little while in Harlequins. But she's a great player. She's the one who kind of twisted the dagger in Italy's back last week with a
Oh,
try.
how
Like she's
very
very,
Shakespearean of you, by the way.
yeah,
Twisted the
yeah,
dagger
yeah,
in there. So you've had Gladiator, you dropped
mm,
Gladiator into this as well, and now you're doing It Too Brute. Like Jesus Christ, this
yeah,
is poetic stuff, by the way.
yeah. You should get in a few more Othello quotes. Othello was our leaving cert Shakespeare play, and we quote it all the time still. Like
Oh, it's Caesar was ours.
anyway,
Caesar was ours. But anyway,
oh yes, we must build it in more. Fucking Shakespeare, man, so funny. But
she's gone.
she's out. She's out. She's upgraded to a red card, and she'll miss this game. So they're missing her. Scotland have been playing really well, but I think that and Scotland were whooped against England as well the week before they played Italy. They bounced back very quickly.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Scotland were on a roll when they came to Belfast. They were doing much better than Ireland, and Ireland won in that last minute. I don't know if you remember, Enya Breen
Yeah.
kicked a penalty, and Ireland won. So I actually think Scotland are scared of Ireland, or can potentially be. They've lost Chloe Rowley now. They could be rattleable if Ireland fucking just kind of continue with the Welsh form.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
form they
Yeah.
had versus Wales. It'll be good. It'll be very, very good, actually. And you know what's cool about it is that Italy are coming to Cardiff. They're playing in the Principality, and England are going to Bordeaux, and every stadium is a record attendance.
Right.
Every
Tickets
game
gone
again is
already.
yeah, every stadium is a record attendance. And the number of tickets sold already. Every fixture is a record for the home attendance, if that makes sense.
But sure, I
So
mean,
like,
you need
yeah,
only talk to an advertising agent. You don't even need to go into a sports analyst. You need to talk to an advertising agent or a production manager to see that trend and go, well, let's take a step back and just have a look. What did we do right? Because we'll be fucking doing that again next year and more of the same, please. Because
yeah.
do you
And
know,
how long have like sports people who've seen this, not just women, but people who've been trying to support women's sports, been crying out for this, like preaching like how good this could be. And now that it's happening, everyone's like, oh yeah, like yeah, we
everybody
fucking told you.
everybody gets amnesia. Everybody gets amnesia when it comes to these things. They go, how the fuck? How did how did that happen? Huh?
Yeah.
What? You're like, what the fuck do you mean? How did that happen? It happened because
Yeah,
But
because we told you. Because we
yeah,
told you it would. Like, no one watches women's sports. Yeah, why do you think? There's no ads. There's no fucking like drive to sell the tickets. There's no like. There's not enough coverage. There's not enough this. So now that has started to change, oh, guess what? People are coming to watch women's
yeah,
sports. Like,
yeah,
well, my brother's living in Indianapolis, and Indiana have just signed Caitlin Clark. She was #1 WNBA drafted. I know you're following any of that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I text my brother and I was like, oh, geez, you'll need to get tickets for this. They're all gone, I'd say. They're all gone. I'd say there's not a hope of getting a fucking ticket because of her.
Yeah. But
Like,
that's it. I mean, the Americans wrote the playbook on how to create hype around any sport, any fucking sport,
yes,
anything.
yeah.
They can
Well,
make
if you look at
anything.
still the highest attended women's sporting event ever was like the World Cup final in 1991 or something crazy. Do you know? So it's been had that potential has been there since then and just not tapped into at all. It's like leaving an oil well just sitting there.
That we talked about this 3 seasons ago, going, how do you walk away from 50% of the
We
market?
did.
How do you
Yeah.
walk away from it? It's fucking madness. But
Mm.
clearly good. The great thing is to not we won't crib. We won't crib, but they're just late to the game. But it's
Yeah. Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
great about sport is that you have new players coming through all the time. And this will only pump the tires of who's coming next. You know what I mean? At least
Yeah.
there's juice in the game now. You go, fuck, this is class. You know what I mean? I can end up playing in stadiums that are
100%.
full, and there's hype, and you see TikTok pops up all the time, and it's the similar adverts that it was during the men's for the women's now. You know what I mean? And they're playing
Yeah.
games, they're doing,
Yeah.
they're asking each other silly questions, and they're,
Yeah.
and stuff like that at
Good. Yeah.
the training facility in Blanchardstown, and all it does is puts it in your mind. That's all you have to do is put it in people's mind's eye, and they
Yeah.
go, "Oh yeah, I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck, men
Yeah.
or
It's
women."
good.
Yeah, it's sport. Yeah, class.
I was going to say because I know you're under pressure now and you need to be scooting off there fairly soon. But AAL final is on Sunday.
The AL final, yes.
UL Bows are playing Railway in the Aviva, and Cork Con are playing Clontarf, I think, in the men's. So, but we can talk about that next week when we have a bit more time because there's a few things to talk about there, and we'll obviously know who the AIL champs are. But
I dared the AIL, and anybody wants to. I tell you one thing, I should be far wealthier than I am. I said to Bernard Jackman, if anybody ever wants to go back and find me speaking, Bernard Jackman, when he was a week gone from the Dragons, and he was all about the right media around rugby would make it interesting. We talked about the women's game, and I said, even go back to grassroots with the kids out there nowadays who have unbelievable cameras. They're all studying fucking
yeah,
filmography. There's
yeah,
drones. Would it
yeah,
not? It would be remiss to not throw a grant of a couple of grand to get kids, I say kids, students, to go film AIL well. I said, you don't need the scissor lift and the fucking link to fucking RT. You can film it HD from a fucking drone now. And he was
yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, you know what? He said, yeah, fucking. And you could see him kind of rattling around going, might be a step too far, but that is a great idea. And apparently, they're all great footage now. It can all be gotten. It's great footage for it. But I'm not saying it was down. Well, it's most likely down to me. Uh, but AIL is doing savage numbers now again as well.
Mm,
Savage amounts are turning out. I do remember prior to show my age now. I remember like when Munster weren't a big thing,
mm.
weren't amazing. It was the
Oh, the club.
it was the club game.
Oh,
You go to
yeah.
like obviously we go. We were Shannon supporters. So you go to a Shannon Gary Owen match. It's going to be 10,000 people at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not a
But
bother.
this is also like shout out to Energia, who've been a
Yes, yes.
brilliant sponsor of the AIL, and not much of a shout out to the IRFU, who have not been the biggest supporters of the AIL, which I think is a total squandered opportunity. And like there was a speaker last year because they showed it on TG Carr last year. The men's final the women's final wasn't on in the Aviva, but this year it will be. And there was a lovely Gaelgore fella from Galway, and he was saying he was doing a lovely post-match speech, Osquelga, and then he said, I'm just going to change to English for a second, just to make sure that the right people hear this. But the RFU needs to look at who's playing in the AIL, because there's brilliant players here who are running circles around some of the contracted men's provincial players, and no one's getting a look in. And there's so much untapped talent in the AIL. And he flat out said it, like, fair play. And I completely agree. And it's the same in the women's game, and it's being squandered on both the men's and the women's front. But we can talk about that next week, because I know you're in a bit.
Yes. Quickly skim over. Decent weekend for the provinces in that Ulster, they won against Cardiff, but people would argue that they shouldn't have won. But look, Ulster can take it.
Oh yeah, I was watching that. It was good.
And Connacht beat Zebra. They were delighted with that. Fair play. They were very happy about beating Zebra. And Leinster went down. Well, I mean, a second string, which I think is a dangerous thing to do so close to a big Northampton game. I think go all out from here to the finals, to all the finals. I don't think
it is a risky game. It's a fucking risky
is, but
game.
fuck it. I mean, you don't pick up a rugby ball to fucking be minded. Now I know there will be obviously there'll be player, because a lot of them are Ireland players. I guess that would account for a lot of it going, no lads, they've savage numbers put up already this year. Can't let you have them. But at the same time, like, there's a big fucking gap between those two, Champions League matches.
Also, like, what if you lose a Champions League game? Then you're fucking out of everything.
That's what happened to them last year, more or less. I mean, they lost in the final, and they have to look over their shoulder then and look over at Munster fucking lifting that big post-apocalyptic looking cup thing. What? It's the weirdest fucking yoke. What weather. So weird. Got the contract.
I kind of love it.
I love it because it's so aggressive looking, but it's like, what is it? It's like a piece of modern art that would, but at the same time, it looks like it would hold up a railway bridge. But anyway, they still won it. And if anybody cares to go back and have a watch of the Munster match from the weekend, I think we've seen this movie before, where Munster get all their players back, fit firing, and they go down to the Bulls. Never won a Loftus before. I don't know who the fuck has won a Loftus before. The lads were blowing. Their jerseys were blue.
I won the Rugby Tens Championship with the Honey Badgers and Loftus.
What an amazing! You actually won with my favorite named team that you've ever played with.
We won the Rugby Tens Championship there. Yeah.
Wow. Were your cheeks blowing as red as the boys' cheeks were, because they were fair sucking diesel?
So hot. It was fucking roasting. Yeah, we were dying. Yeah.
But you are asphyxiating too, because you're at such height as well. So did brilliantly bringing on the bench the way they brought on the bench, because they had a lot of starters on the bench and they brought them on, and it just I say starters, but lads who would have been starting, the likes of Gavin Coombs and Casey, I suppose, were two that were like, Jesus. And then they brought him on, and it kicked it up another gear. Like, it was a great idea.
Yeah, I know. It was so great. Maybe Munster threw the Champions Cup in order to win the URC.
I'm not joking with you. I was driving along the other day going, yeah, because if you felt you didn't have it yet, you don't have the minerals to close out the fucking...
No, I don't genuinely believe that.
But I mean, it will. When you can load all your... Yeah, conspiracy theories, of course.
Yeah,
we're the only rugby podcast that openly does conspiracy theories. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what it sounds like. Do you know what? I 100% believe, and Loftus isn't actually at height at all. They just wind it up when they get players into the stadium, and they just wind it up into the sky to reduce the air content. That's just another one I'm throwing out there. But yeah, they did great. They might come home. They play the Lions next weekend, and they may come out of it with 2 wins. Leinster might come out of it with no wins. Now, I know Leinster are top of the league, but Munster could be gunning for top of the league on this one, which would ensure, is it 2? Would they get a quarter and a semi-final at home? I think they might get it. They might, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. The one thing I remember from Loftus, every single person that was there had the worst cracked lips in the world afterwards.
Go away!
Worst. It was like climbing Everest. You know, people have their lips all. Yeah, that's the one thing I remember from Loftus.
Was there anybody selling chapstick outside the gate?
No one had chapstick on them. Everyone was asking, like, all the girls.
Okay, if we have any cosmetic brands involved here, we can go 50-50 on a branded Banana and Bear Rugby Podcast
chapstick to sell outside Loftus Versfeld.
Now your internet dropped for a millisecond, and I need you to say chapstick correctly again, please.
Chapstick. Why did it come out?
Oh my God! Something has happened. Your speaker.
Does it sound like I'm saying dick?
Yes. Yes. Why? How do you know this? Has this something that has happened before?
No, but like I'm hardly saying chap. Chapstick.
There we go. Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Sorry, hang on. Before chapstick's a very American word. When did we start using chapstick? What did we use before chapstick?
Lip balm.
Oh, lip balm, lip balm. Yeah. Lip
Yeah.
balm.
Okay.
Less risque as well. Yeah, lip
Oh,
balm.
yeah. Lip
Put
balm.
on there's lip balm.
I don't say. Yeah, do you know what? But why wouldn't you? For the crack. I mean, you go to all these other places, and they, for one reason or another, they're selling you the product that you need. Like I was listening to a guy the other day. He was talking about being in. He was trying to film in, was it India or some. It was near India where he was, and they were trying to film, and these monkeys would jump down and steal your shit, your cameras, and
Oh yeah.
and they'd sit up in a tree waving it at you. And the only way to get him back down the tree would be to go over and go to the bloke who's selling mango, right? Dude selling fucking mango. And your man's like giving the monkey the wink. So you have to buy a bag of fucking mango off this fella. And then
Then
a
it with
kid will come over and go, listen, you can stand there all day long with that fucking mango, which you would be going, oi, oi, come down, come bring me fucking camera down. A fucking mango.
yeah.
But he said, you don't know how to talk to him. I'll look for a few dollars. I'll fucking talk him down with the mango. And the next thing, the kid would fucking wave the mango. Your man would fucking come down the tree, hand over the
Yeah.
shit, and take the
Doing
mango and
business
run. So
doing business with monkeys.
they'd created a business. Okay, the monkeys were the heart and soul of the business, but there was an actual, there was a capitalist environment working around these, and everybody
Yes,
got what they
yeah.
needed from it. But the mango guy would not have a gig if there was no monkeys. And what I'm saying is, there's Loftus is up at an elevation. People have chapped lips. Why not provide the service? I mean,
That's like, do you know in countries where the tire companies go around like building potholes
yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
they're like, oh, 2 for 1.
well, they used to say a thing like, "Don't be the guy mining, be the guy selling the shovels." So we don't have to go and hurt ourselves playing for provincial rugby. We can just be outside with our hats on, selling lip balm, branded lip balm to these people. Okay, great. Well, right, we're looking forward to all roads lead to Belfast. Did we need 1 or 2 wins in this Six Nations to qualify for the World Cup? You
We
had
need
said
to,
1, but then I read somewhere 2, and now you're kind.
um, it depends on Wales. Depends on how
Okay,
Wales go.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, look, let's not hope we're not looking to the judges to score this one. Let's hope we can actually beat Scotland up in Belfast, which is a home game. So all roads
A
lead.
losing bonus point. Actually, sorry, do you know what? I need to actually do my homework properly on this so I know all eventualities. But
Will you text me, please? Because I get
yeah,
very confused when it comes to numbers.
yeah. So do I. Yeah, I find it very difficult. So I need to do extra homework on it. So I need to do that homework on it to discover all eventualities. But I think it does depend on Wales because Wales have yet to win a match, but they will be playing in the Principality in front of a record crowd.
You went, you went a little South Asian there. I'm just gonna say it. You went a little. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. All
I'm
right.
Nigel Owens. Okay, right.
We can be here all fucking night. I gotta go meet
That's
this.
my phrase to switch on my Welsh
Okay,
accent.
I'm Nigel Owens. I'm the referee around here.
I'm the referee. Yeah.
All right, mind the rooks.
Mind the rocks. Mind the rocks.
It's the Banana and Bears Rock.